There is fortitude in adversity, as seen by Ukraine's strategic shift and Russia's struggles in Kursk. And despite the relentless drone attacks on Ukrainian cities, despite the death last night and the 38 injuries, I think, in Kyiv, Ukraine's strategic counteroffensive in the Kursk region has now begun, and Ukraine, in the middle of adversity, is turning defense into offense. And the question really is Ukraine leveraging the Kursk offensive to fortify its position in ongoing or in the coming negotiations under Trump? The August 2023 Ukrainian incursion into Kursk marked a significant territorial gain, initially seizing 1,200 square kilometres and 93 villages. And Russia's counteroffensives have since regained approximately half of that territory. The January the 5th counterattack today has involved Ukrainian forces using tanks, armoured vehicles, and counter-obstacle equipment, and Suja and the highway leading to Berdin, with potential diversionary tactics aimed at Glushkovo, seem to be the main focus. And Andriy Yermak, the head of Ukraine's presidential office, says that Russia is getting what it deserves. And there's an emphasis here on morale-building rhetoric from Ukrainian officials, so any ground taken is a positive. The Ukrainian Defense Ministry's the Russian Defense Ministry's defensive stance highlights operational struggles and low troop morale, and the deployment of North Korean forces, which has been criticized as a desperate measure, has yielded over 1,000 casualties in the last week. And overnight attacks targeting Kyiv and surrounding regions, 61 drones intercepted, civilian injuries in Kharkiv and Kherson and Sumy illustrate the human cost of the war, particularly to Ukraine. But Ukraine's refusal to be cornered, refusal to submit to this onslaught from Russia is commendable. And it's a signal, the new Kursk offensive is a signal to allies, particularly in the West, that Ukraine remains proactive, not merely reactive. And there are problems here, but there's a report of low morale and manpower shortages across the battlefield, with a loss of 40% of Kursk territory since August. This is not that surprising from a Ukrainian point of view. And from a Russian point of view, of course, the fact is Kursk has not been retaken. The Russia's reliance on undertrained foreign forces like the North Koreans and the high-profile losses such as the commander Konstantin Nagaiko is a demonstration of the sort of pressure that the Kremlin is under. And the biggest concern, I suppose, is that under a Trump-induced truce, Russia would simply regroup and re-attack in the long term. And so it's important for Ukraine to make what advances it can so that it's got more of a bargaining chip. And I think a new Kursk offensive will also promote further concerns within Russia, further dissent, especially among military bloggers and war critics and trolls. And it will signal to Ukraine it will signal to NATO and Ukraine's allies that Ukraine has operational capacity despite its limited resources, and it has determination. It's not just a military maneuver, but a statement of resilience, in other words, of strategy, of defiance. And Russia's heavy reliance on the foreign troops and its struggle to reclaim the Kursk territory reveals deeper structural issues, as well as a loss of equipment and a loss of manpower. Ultimately, this conflict underscores the broader battle for narrative control, both domestically and internationally. And the Kursk offensive reminds us that in the middle of the darkness of war, strategy and determination serve as a beacon of hope for Ukraine. Holding the line isn't just about land, it's about the future of their sovereignty and the endurance of their spirit.